So I teach a course called Laws 2105, which is a course on social theory and human rights. And in that course, we study social theory. And we study the implications for human rights and equality and social justice. And my goal is for the students to learn about social theory, to understand what it means to have different types of social theory, and then to embody social theory and to think about what it means for them. And to think at the end of the day, what their approach to social justice is and how it's underlined and what kind of theory underlines their idea. I taught the course first in a traditional classroom, and now I've been teaching the course in the Discovery Center. And it lends itself very, very well to the Discovery Center because it gives me the freedom to think creatively about pedagogy, about what I hope students will learn and what I can do with students in the classroom. So the space itself is so versatile that instead of limiting me and thinking about what I can do with students sitting in desks that are bolted to the floor, I can think about what students can do when they move around and when they can use technology. And it has completely liberated the way that I think about teaching and the way that I think about learning. There are really two parts to how I use the center. One is in the classroom, so in the teaching hours. And I think about the end goal for each class and what I'd like students to take away from that particular theory or theorist. And so they read the theorist outside of class and then they come in, and I see that time as a time for encountering the theorist. Encountering that theorist through their ideas, but also vis-a-vis the students' ideas about social justice. I really want them to almost embody the ideas that they're learning about. And so, for example, we study John Rawls' theory of social justice. And Rawls has this idea that if we all went behind the veil of ignorance, he calls it, that we would all be able to distract ourselves or distance ourselves from who we are and create a world that is just and mostly equal. And so in order to embody this, I have students in groups in the center, and they are given an identity as groups. And then I hang a very large sari, as it turns out, right across the entire space. And after constructing society as a group, considering their identities and based on their identities, the students literally take the piece of paper, put it in their back pocket. Their identities are now in their back pocket. And they walk to the other side of this large veil that I've hung up in the classroom. And now that they're distanced from who they are and they're just citizens, we talk about what society would or should look like. And that's the moment that they begin to understand how they would respond or act differently and what Rawls is really talking about. The example I just gave is a way of teaching I would have never thought of before, because the space is pliable. And that has allowed me to be much more dynamic and flexible in the way that I think about teaching. It's like the space has opened up a whole new era of teaching and so many possibilities that just weren't there before. So I think that's, there's absolutely no parallel, to be honest, because it's a space that is both enabled, but that enables thought, ideas, progressive teaching that is focused around a very different type of student learning. And that type of student learning, I think, is really important in the academy.